Brothers and sisters. So we actually have an official name. We're going to call. Last week we had Angelica Hernandez up here from Goodwill, so she coined Tri-County DVOPS. But since we've had some major changes, we'll go over those in a little bit because we just basically added Pima County to it.
Correct.
So now more than three. But before we get going, I'm Jerry. We have a special guest today, Javier.
I'm
Been
Javier
super
Pelaez.
excited about this. Kevin kind of pissed me off, so he's producing today. So he kind of, that was embarrassing when he did at lunch.
It's okay though. You know something? He wanted his MREs, so we got him.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know he knew what an MRE was.
You know something? Here's what you got to learn with Kevin. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
I hate you. Anyway, it's going to be a long hour.
It's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a long one. So if you... Kevin and I are located down here at the Warrior Healing Center at 1838 Paseo, San Luis. I won't even go over all the offices we have in Tucson, but if you don't mind, we'll just list your contact office.
Sure. You could reach me. I am in South Tucson, but currently I am stationed over at Keno at the One Stop. Can I give you my phone number?
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, if anyone's in Tucson and would like to schedule time to meet with me, talk to me, my number is 520-638-2408. My name is Javier Pelaez, and I am a veteran workforce specialist in Tucson. And I can direct you to anyone who's closer to you.
That was impressive. I love how you said that.
Thank you.
God, you're amazing. You really are.
I know.
You're amazing.
I know.
I just don't see how you get through your day.
It's hard.
God bless you.
I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I don't know how I do it either.
Anyway, so if you're a veteran, spouse of a veteran, family member of a veteran, just a client in general, and you're looking for work, go to ArizonaJobConnection.gov. That is our statewide database for training and employment. If you have questions, if you just need help with a resume or just questions in general, veteran related or however, reach out to us, give us a shout out, and we'll be able to answer all your questions or just refer you to the proper individual. So today, about a month ago when you were first on?
Correct.
Javier, it's I don't want to get into it. I'll let Javier talk more about it. So as a DVOP, we all have, like to say, maybe our special projects we want to do.
Correct.
That we like working
Sure.
with. And every DVOP seems to be a little bit different. Kevin his is just what, hunting down MREs, things like that, and Diet Pepsi, stuff like that. So, but
surplus material.
Yeah, surplus material.
It's called procuring.
Procuring. He loves playing pictures. That's adorable. Yeah, but so Javier though, and I've been super excited about this. So. You've been with the state how many years now?
I've been with the state now 3.5 years.
Okay, so, and I vaguely remember, I've been with about 2.5 years or so, and I'm, hearing about what you do up in Tucson, and I know pre-COVID, things have changed since then, but pre-COVID, you were, you're all over Tucson just about, but you work specifically with Native veterans.
Correct. So I have the honor, and I will say that honor, to work with the two major tribes in southern Arizona, the Pascua Yaqui and the Tohono O'odham Nation. And what we try to do is ensure that their veterans receive the information that we can provide them. We work hand in hand with their Veteran Affairs Office because every nation, every tribe has their own unique offices.
Right.
But what's really beautiful, again, and I say this as an honor, is when we get invited to one of their stand-downs. Because not everybody gets invited.
Right.
Okay, so we go there, represent, and we bring all the information we can. I'm lucky in the sense that I'm able to go every 2 weeks to the Tucson Indian Center, and I give workshops there. We worked with the Diversity Fair, myself and Leo Verdugo. We were instrumental in helping them launch that. It was virtual this year, first time for them. But last year, when it was live, we Arizona Work actually received a trophy, a partnership trophy.
Nice.
So what we try to do is just help out as much as we can. Anytime they need anything, we're there.
And what's interesting, Kevin and I were kind of discussing this the other day, is, when you enlist in the military, you leave home, you do your time. And what's interesting with some veterans, with veterans, either you're going to ETS retire, you're going to go where the money's at, or if you're married, you may move home with whomever. But there's a large group of veterans that go home.
Correct.
And so depending upon where they're from, there's a lot of complexities to that, because you've done time, whatever your MOS was, doing this, doing that. The challenging part is going home. And I know, listening to you talk, there's a lot of complexities that go on within the reservations.
Correct. Yeah, there is, for us, it's again, following protocol. I will say that, in the state of Arizona, we were tasked picked by the Department of Labor, myself and my counterpart, and Adam Gerard. We put together a component in the NVTI training for DVOPS.
Right.
NVTI is National Veterans Training Institute. This is something that's national, that everyone who does our job gets trained on. And the component was how to work within our native population, understand the protocols, understand how to deal within the tribal leadership and get the message in there. And all these little nuances. So as we start that, then comes the second part. How do we get the message out there? Because they are rural. I mean, there's not like there's a DVOP station next door to one of the
and when you say rural, in some cases, very rural.
Correct. They might not even have cell coverage.
Right.
Okay. So how do we do that? And that really becomes part of our job as veterans workforce specialists, to make that outreach, get to know the tribal community, and when we get invited, go there and fully participate.
I know during COVID, I was working down in the Safford office, and we take a lot of things for granted. As an example, we're sitting here in this awesome little booth, this and that, but we had individuals, and I thought payphones were non-existent, but they would have to go off of the reservation, hit a telephone booth just to do the call-in for their unemployment.
Correct.
In a lot of cases, it's hard to believe. We're in 2021, and we don't think about those things, that when they go home, they go home.
Correct.
In some cases. And
that's just the psychology, the social structure, the safety of what they know. Again, when we look at our Native American veterans, they go back home because that's what's safe for them. Okay, so it's our job to get the message out to them, right? To be that source, work in conjunction with the tribal resources.
Do some tribes have better resources than other tribes? As far as veterans go, or is they all about?
I would say each one of them have a great mission.
Okay.
Every single one of them. Again, it's hard to get the message out there because some of these, when we talk rural, they don't have internet, they can't get it. So how do they get the information? How do the word gets out? So that's why it's important. As you saw some of our other DVOPs throughout the state go into these stand downs. Okay, we get invited, we need to be there, we need to participate. I'm lucky that our relationship is so strong here in South Tucson and Southern Arizona, that we get invited and we're able to go and have a really, fantastic day, be part of their community as service providers. And I think that's a big feather in the cap for the ones before me that started it.
And what's interesting, I was doing, I did some training on, I didn't realize the amount of reservations that encompass in the state of Arizona.
Correct.
And it's really interesting. It's the majority of the state is rural, and it's kind of a shame. It's from a veteran standpoint. And I tell people, as a veteran, we're one of the only, in my opinion, I'm sorry, groups we're entitled to anything. Yeah. Because of the sacrifices that we, we were willing to do in the defense of our country. And that's why I love listening to you talk, because you bring a whole different dynamic to it. You put your degree program to work, I guess.
Yeah, correct. And I'm going to say this. When I say it's an honor, I mean that because when you walk in, or when you're accepted to go in there, you're talking to veterans, their forefathers, who, after all the issues they've had, put everything aside to go defend this country. You're looking at, as we go back in history, a little history lesson here, South Pacific, the Marines with their code talkers. That's the only way we were able to do the Island Hopping campaign. And in fact, this is a beautiful thing that Arizona did. Is in August, I forget the date, August 6th maybe. I need to check that. It's actually Navajo code talker. Yep. It's a holiday. They're being honored.
I was reading. There's a program I like watching on. It's called the Great War Series on YouTube, and it's interesting. They had code talkers in World War One. They, the contributions that they made to our country. From scouting to what was it? Not that long ago, the last of the war chiefs passed away, and it's just it's an amazing history. How he was able to be recognized, the things he did in the European theater of operations to become a war chief. It's like actually stole a war. It's just really a phenomenal story. But, their battle honors are amazing.
It's unbelievable.
It's just wow.
It's just bravery, and again, it's selfishness.
Yeah.
And so for me, and I keep repeating it over and over again, it's one of the highest honors I have when I step there and walk in and represent Arizona at work, but be on the reservation and interact. And I've met, family members of code talkers, who've come up and say, "Hey, thank you for your service." I said, no,
thank you.
I'm thanking you, So in that regards, I think we are doing a good job getting the message out there. Okay, and that's the critical piece, is working within their framework to get that message out to them, to have them come to any office. And that's the reason why, for me, is to say whatever part of Arizona you're at, we're here. There's a DVOP available to you, and we will go. Adam Gerard does amazing work up in the 19 tribal nations. He's
just recently
he's honored as in the Hall of Fame, Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame, and the work he's done with the Navajo is just amazing.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion, because I think with listening to the veterans that we typically deal with, you listen to their issues, I guess, and their barriers to employment, which some are just like, wow, that just, this is how we're going to tackle that. So what is the difference is there a difference between your typical veteran coming in versus Native veterans? Is it more complex, or is it?
My dealings have, I look at the singular veteran as a whole. Okay. And each one of them is unique with their issues, whatever barrier they have. So I can't personally say that there is a difference.
Okay.
Only because when we look at the veteran, we're looking at them as the individual themselves. Now, there are some logistical issues that may come into play. Okay. And I would say that more on the logistical side, like maybe transportation, maybe trying to get them from the reservation to a one-stop.
Right.
Okay. Or have them, here's the important piece, have them not view us as just another agency that's going to fail them. Okay. And this is why Adam and I we embedded this in the program. Do what you say. When you have a member of a tribe that comes to see you, sometimes it is a couple hour travel, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to finish your resume for you," then do it. Complete the task. Okay.
Exactly.
Build that respect. But when we look at a veteran in itself, in total, they have the same wants and needs. Okay. The same issues. that, in fact, sometimes they could be a little, because they may not be able to get to the resources they need.
Right.
Like getting to the VA might be a little more difficult for you.
No, and you're right. And I know, because, there's sometimes when Kevin and I will be sitting in the office, we'll just kind of brainstorm back and forth. And one of the things I have learned, and trust is a huge thing among
Correct.
the veteran community, because if I say, yeah, we're going to be there 0800, we're time on target. But, being a DVOP, I think, is a very interesting job. It's a fascinating job because, like you were saying, we look at the veteran as a whole. Every barriers to employment could be as simple as maybe just need a resume.
Correct.
Or maybe the veteran toolkit, or God forbid, a lot more serious. And, and it's amazing sometimes how I'm trying to think of the right word to say. I apologize, people, but the complexities of each individual is different, but in some ways they're kind of the same.
They are, and here's the most important aspect as that I view us DVOPS should do, right? Is we're not order takers. Okay, we need to look at each veteran as a whole, like we discussed, but understand that we can give them all the tools they want. We can load them up with job leads and resumes. We can load them up with just a myriad of things. But unless we motivate them or find out what is the additional barrier they may have,
right.
Maybe they have struggled since they left the military. Okay, maybe their esteem is down. Maybe they've lost their dignity because they've been homeless and now living in a shelter. Well, tools are not going to help you if you don't have that internal motivation.
No, and you're right. And I think what I think is interesting is you feel lost sometimes when you exit the military.
Sure.
You feel like there's a part of you that is missing. I know for me, deployed active duty, I deployed as a reservist, and I think the hardest time was my deployments as a reservist versus active duty. Because I deployed, I come home, now I'm sitting in my office. I remember I kind of joke about it. I came back to work while I was still on terminal leave, and I'm sitting there. I was like, crap! I ran my last convoy 2 weeks ago. Now I'm a civilian, and it was an eye opener. I was like, holy shnikes! So I think, like we were talking about earlier, when you're there, you want to be here. When you're here, you want to be there. So there's a lot of. So as if I'm working with a client, with a clear conscience, I can't say, hey, Javi, I'm just going to put you to work, dude. But you're like, okay, I'll go back to work. And then a month later, you're back in my office.
Yeah, because, we have to take time. One of the things that I like to do, right, is I like to just tell a veteran, be proud of your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
Find, if you have something of yours. If you don't have it, tell me. I will get you something. Right? And it's as simple as, that internal motivation, right? We need to have that drive. We need to understand what gives us that confidence. Because one of the things, again, is having that confidence to face the world again. Right? Having that self-confidence. So, for example, for myself, anytime I felt the walls are coming in, as we've all felt this before, I would look on my wall and I would see my SEER certificate. Right, saying I made it through survival school, and that little reminder gives me that intestinal fortitude to keep going forward. Right, exactly. To say I can handle this. So when we look at a veteran and he's sitting there, I like to say, listen, bro or sister, hey, you've done this before. You've done it.
It's too easy.
You've done it. You can do it. Let's go back. Okay, because one of the things, what happens is, in the civilian context, to say, that's it, glory days, and I don't want to go back. You're a high school football player. It's different context when you're in the military.
No, it is.
Because when you put on that uniform for the first time you walk across that stage. For me, it was my commissioning. Walking across that stage, I never felt so proud. You know?
I was thinking about this the other day because I was trying to come up with questions to ask you. And, you know, everything in the military is designed to pass.
Correct.
And, you know, when you go to basic training, for some people, it's the hardest thing they'll ever do. Some people, it's like, wow, this is the football practice.
Yeah.
Coach was worse than this.
Yeah.
But you're right. When you step across that stage, it's like, holy shit, wow.
I did it.
I did it. And then you go to your A school, AIT, or jump, whatever it is you're going to do. But I had a battalion chaplain one time call, like we have NTC, JRTC. Those are our playoffs. You know, when you deploy to real world, that's our Super Bowl. And it may not seem like a lot, but when you are successful in completing, you know, say combat operations or whatever, you look back, it's like, wow, that was pretty badass what I did.
Correct.
You know, I have a buddy of mine, he always gives me a hard time, and I'll say, I was just a truck driver. And he was like, Jerry, stop that. You hauled ammunition, you did this. And I was like, yeah, well, all right, whatever. No, but you're right. It's like the things that we accomplish may not seem a lot, but with veterans, it's always something, it's bigger than you. I think that always got me.
Sure.
You know,
and again, too, you know, it's, again, we're all motivated differently.
Mm-hmm.
There are some vets that say, I don't want to go back there. And that's fine. Absolutely. You know, but there are some of us, you know, that, you know, we need that inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's inspiring. And when we work with a veteran who has faced barriers, who, you know, feels like they lost their dignity, right? I think the important thing is to regain that. How to regain that is by taking them and say, hey, you wore a uniform, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say this is your battle. You're working through this right now. We're going to get through it together, okay? The tools that I'm going to give you now won't work until we get you feeling motivated about yourself again. Going back to your true self, right? Your true inside self,
Right.
And you get to the next level.
And I always tell some of my clients, the only thing I'm concerned right now is engage a 50-meter target. That's all I care about. We have plenty of time to worry about 300. And, you know, it's tough sometimes. It really is, because you have to make a call. You know, with a clear conscience, I cannot send you to work. I want you to go to work, but on the same time, I want you to stay there. I want you to be happy. And that's the hard part of things sometimes as a DVOP, because it's not about placements to us.
No.
It's about doing what's right to keep that veteran gainfully employed.
Yeah, you know, and you're so right there. I mean, when we look about helping them get to the next level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maslow's theories, getting up to, you know, from basic necessity,
the psychology guy,
all the way, you know,
crack a joke, get too serious. No.
Time for a joke.
It's time for a joke.
But no, because
I wasn't a bar now.
Because what you're talking about, though, what you're talking about is the basic need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we want them to get to the next level.
Exactly.
Right? So, but without that basic need taken care of, right? Which, let's say, is eating, right? Shelter. You can't get to that job.
No.
Because first of all, mentally, psychologically, you don't feel good about yourself, right?
No, you feel like you're a piece of crap.
You don't have you know, oh, you're going to send me for a job interview? What's your address? I don't have one. Do you have a bank? No. You're not going to be in the right set of mind. So we need to make sure that we get them feeling good about themselves.
And I used to think that in the rural area, and the more rural you get, the harder it is. However, you know, in the urban, you know, your homeless veterans have it just as bad as, you know,
if not worse.
Exactly. And it's just really interesting because, you know, like you're saying, you know, it's like dealing with your sailors, your privates. You know, you look at their basic needs. They need clothes. They need a roof over their head. They need 3 hots and a cot, if you will. As long as I can provide those as a section chief, we're okay right now. Worry about the other stuff later. But you got to make sure, you know, 3 hots and a cot, you know. how am I supposed to send you to a job interview if you only have a pair of basketball shorts and maybe some flip flops and wearing a wife beater? Well, I need a suit. I need clothes. So you take care of their basic necessities first.
And I keep going back to this theme here, but for me, it's restoring dignity.
No, and you're right.
Because something, when you feel that you warrant getting a job because you feel good about yourself, right? Because we've done everything to make sure that when we send them out to look for that job, right, they have a good pair of pants to wear, some shoes, right, shirt, feel good about themselves. They will project that image. Okay, we're helping them with some of the intangibles, right? Which is, we basically become drill instructors, right? We build them up and then take them there.
And it's interesting because from day one in basic, you're taught to win.
Correct.
You're taught to succeed. You're taught to accomplish. Failure is not an option mentality. And I know from my standpoint, when I left that, when I left active duty, all that disappeared. No. You feel worthless. Yeah. It's like, what the hell do I do now? Yeah. And how do you regain that sense of honor, dignity, that winner mentality again? And it doesn't help sometimes if you're working with individuals that have no concept of the world you come from.
Sure.
To me, it makes it worse. And so, and that is the hard part, like you're saying, get that dignity back, get that winning spirit back, the spirit of the warrior, that warrior mindset. In a lot of cases, it's gone. Yeah. So how do you build that back? Like you're saying, you become a drill sergeant, you become that awesome the Audie Murphys, if you will, and so it's challenging. But from on the flip side of that, like we were saying, we have the same issues. Yeah. So how do we police up ourselves? Yeah. So it's very difficult some cases that I've seen as a DVOP, because I'll be sitting there listening, talking to the client. It's like, holy crap, I got the same issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the, I think, the important things is to connect with the veteran you're working for, and be able to look him in the eye and say, something, brother or sister, I've been in your shoes. That darkness you're talking about? That hole inside of you? Been there. This is what I did. You do that too? Yeah. Okay. So I'm in your shoes. I'm in there, but I've been able to climb out. Okay. And it's not easy. And we're going to, you got to trust your resources. You need a good cadre of friends. And if you don't have one, I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to do the buddy check. Okay. Because that's what we need to do, right? We need to do buddy checks. I've traveled all over the place, and I will say this, right? Here in Tucson, I've met some of the most amazing friends, okay? And these gentlemen here, we do buddy checks. The minute they feel that you're not at your best, right? Are you doing okay, brother? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I have to tell Kevin he's pretty every day.
You have to, but that's Kevin, and he's very sensitive.
He is.
And I get prettier every day.
You do. I tell you that every day, Kevin.
Something, and I've just come here. I don't want to get in between you two guys. I'm just letting you know right now.
But your hobby.
I know, but that's
you're a big deal.
I know.
We were so nervous with you coming down. We didn't know what to do.
I put on my pants just like you guys, one leg at a time.
No.
What you guys need is more cowbell.
Oh, you're soaking the cowbell.
Soaking the cowbell now. Yeah. It's on. But just gonna do so real quick. If, like I was saying earlier, if you're looking for employment or maybe just basic questions or whatever, please come on down to the Warrior Healing Center at 1838 Paseo San Luis. We have satellite offices on at 2600 East Wilcox Drive here in Sierra Vista. We have offices in Douglas, Graham, and Greene County, and all over Tucson.
Correct.
And like I was saying earlier, we just it's kind of cool. We were kind of excited down here is that now we're all under one umbrella.
Yeah.
One functioning unit.
And we can share resources.
Share amazing resources come out of Tucson. It's just unbelievable. But like I was saying, I was super stoked to have you down here today because you're Javier.
That's true.
You're a big deal. You really are. And you're
Well,
okay. You're okay for a sailor, especially in LT. That you're okay.
Man,
you use those big words. I think that's what kind of intimidates.
That's okay though, But I've toned it down this time.
Impressive.
I've been very pragmatic.
Yeah.
And I've tried to stay away from any sort of empirical theories or anything like that. Just keep it straight, basic stuff.
Can you say empirical?
Empirical. You like that?
I do. I'm gonna have to leave now.
I know you do. This is what makes the trip so much fun.
It's because it's
the camaraderie.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We are who we are. Okay, and we're not going to change. We're not going to change. But I'm going to say this: you're not going to find any finer people, than the folks here at the Warrior Center. Okay,
yeah, no.
And the stuff you guys do. This is an inspiration. This is the stuff that we need to be going on. We need to get the message out there. We need to be able to have veterans hear from different people. Okay, this what you're doing is really just pushing what we need to do forward.
In my opinion, since we've been over here, it's amazing working out of the Warrior. It really is. And to see, hey brother, hey sister, let's roll. Let's get this done. We're gonna tackle that. To me, it's kind of a tough discussion because, we just officially, at the end of the month or next month, going to end a 20-year war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
One of the longest in American history.
Correct. Longest.
Yeah. And, but like with you and I and Kevin, it's kind of interesting, go for it. But, being go for / OIF, OIF at, it's like it's not, we're seeing a generation of veterans from a legacy veteran, if you will, to we are seeing things that we really haven't seen before in the numbers that we are dealing with. And to me, it seems like, when you look at it as an example, disability rating, we're seeing numbers. It's staggering. And, and I know maybe if you come back again, but, addressing, like say 22 a day. It's such a huge, wide, broad spectrum of things to discuss, tackle, that sort of stuff. And it doesn't get easier. It gets more challenging every day.
We're looking at, this is something that we need to be cognizant of as some of the older veterans, right? Put this on our shoulders. We have a generation of displaced, dispossessed young veterans.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming back with illusions, okay, into now a post-pandemic war economy. No jobs. You leave the military, you're supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. You're going to be working for contractors. You're going to get a job at the police force. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing that. Reality is, it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. And then you got the wounds that they carry. The most powerful ones are the internal wounds. Hey, you can always heal. Prosthetics, you can get one, right?
Yeah.
You can do it. But what's in your mind that doesn't go away, right? That eats away at you. That's the scars we don't see. And that's what we need to do as some of our older veterans like yourself and I and Kevin. We need to be cognizant of that when we work with these young vets. Give them that mentorship, give them that leadership. Okay, give them the wisdom we've had. Put ourselves in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them we've been there. A little different, but we still walk the same path. Okay, emphasize to them about looking, and there are more resources popping out all over the place. It's up to us to find them and bring it to them. From equine therapy to, I have a friend of mine that I'd like to introduce to you folks. When you bring him down, he has a group and they do jiu-jitsu in Tucson. Okay.
And then you pointed at the chubby guy. I saw that.
I would like to see you at a VIA. Okay. All right. I'm looking at Kung Fu Panda here. Okay?
God, I hate you so much. Well, love you to say it's
I know.
conflicting.
That's good humor. But, there's My Veterans Passion out of Tucson, which is a fitness group, okay? Doing more training. So there's a lot of things. There's cooking classes, okay? Pottery. So there's something for everyone.
But on a serious note, I think when I first met you was, 2
years ago.
Yeah, it was at the conference.
Yep.
And you were telling me that you had dramatically had to change everything.
I changed everything. I went to the VA. When I first moved to Tucson, I was into doing a lot of hot yoga, extreme yoga. Then I said, you know something? I'm 50-something. I want to be one of those old guys with the grandpa muscles. So I started lifting weights and punching back. I got pretty thick, right? So I go to the VA and I'm like, hey. She goes, hey, your blood pressure's high. I go, nah, I was just, drinking coffee. She goes, that's 2 years in a row. And so she had the heart-to-heart with me and said, you know something? You're too old to be wanting to bench 300 pounds and that kind of stuff. You should think of your heart. So I said, okay. And she put a challenge. She said, guys your age, it's hard to drop 10 pounds. So I get a year to lose 10 pounds. You'll be fine. And I said, oh, really? And I went ahead and I dropped 40. But that's about 2.5 years ago. Okay. Because, again, we talked about age. Got a little bit worried, had the resources at the VA, telling me I needed to do it, And so I just been doing that. It's good. Plus, it's good for the mind. I have to say.
I think it was, I think the Southern VA, honestly, from my experience, they're not bad.
They're not bad.
The VA is changing.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot more progressive.
Yeah.
Straight across the board. And, you deal with veterans like, dude, maybe you should go. No, I can't go. They'll let you die.
Yeah.
Well, things are changing and a lot more positive for the veteran.
Sure.
I know this is hard to believe, but from a simple doing disability ratings.
Yeah.
The VA has realized, we screwed the pooch on this. And
Correct.
they're openly admitting this, and so they are streamlining it. But
it's that stigma, and that's the problem with some of our older vets, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the VA because they've done this, or I've heard, or this and that. And I say, well, try the one here. It's the Southern VA. They're very holistic. They offer a lot of programs that you can tap into.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter, again, breaking down those walls, having them build a faith up. There's some great people that work there. Some of former DVOPS all work there. So, we have some good resources for our veterans.
Yeah, and that's what I think is interesting, because becoming a DVOP, I didn't realize the plethora of resources.
Nice
I did. It's not too bad for a truck driver. It took me like a week to think about that
Is
one.
smoke coming off the top of his
It
head?
is. It is.
I actually heard the gears in his head.
It is. The engine retarder. So there we go.
It was cute the way he said it too.
I know it is. It is. I tried. I was trying to impress you.
You did.
Yeah. Well, I tried.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It really isn't. It's difficult.
Had you wore your pink flamingo shirt, I would have been impressed.
I almost did, but
next time.
Next time. Yeah, because I was told you like flamingos.
I do, especially on you.
Hey, I
You
tried.
remind me of Chief Neptune. King Neptune.
He's never coming back. No, he's done. No.
Talk to my agent.
Yeah, talk to my agent.
I got a 5-gig contract. Sorry, Charlie.
Well, so I kind of got. I was told last week I hit the desk too, but you're doing this, so I'll do it.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, one more time for Mrs. Mcfadden back there. She was like, "Why do you always have to hit the desk?" You didn't want to hit the desk.
I know. I don't do that. I don't believe in violence.
Peace and love.
Exactly. That's why they like the pink flamingo shirt.
What does this mean?
He says you got 10 minutes.
We got to wrap up
We're
in 10
doing-
minutes. I'm trying to give you hand
You're
signals.
doing Air Force signs. We don't do Air Force signs.
They're a little more sophisticated.
No, they're
Okay,
not.
Come on.
No.
It looks like you're playing golf.
Yeah, I know.
Like you're saying I'm at the 10th hole.
I told you to steal second, all right?
You shut up.
These characters, these two guys.
You
It's like
shut your mouth.
I'm breaking my contract.
Yeah.
By the way, I got a book coming.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty awesome.
Yin and yang.
Well, so you're lucky. Last week we get harassed by the crypto guys, and they can be brutal.
They are. They're on their own world.
Yeah, the combat crypto team.
Yeah.
They're out there. But anyway, so
Why were they? What did you do?
well, we just wanted to have an hour to talk.
And you?
We went like hour 5.
That's not good.
No, it's not. But
Yeah.
Attention to detail,
Their
gentlemen.
show was late.
there,
You mean the Crypto Hour show?
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
a whole 5 viewers.
they all tune in the radio.
Now we're working on our Rumble. You know,
Yeah.
our West Side Story Rumble.
The Sharks versus the Cryptos.
But so I want to say thank you
Oh, my pleasure.
sincerely. I mean, it's
I love the work just to help you out here. I love the work you guys do. It's very inspiring. Okay, I think to put yourself out there, bring the message out to our veterans. This is, to me, is very innovative. Okay,
and that's what I think before wrap it up. But and that's what I love about the veteran community. Most of the time, we try to think outside the box. I know, you guys do up in Tucson. I mean, try anything and everything. And
oh yeah, I'm a sailor too. So. That's why you looked at me when you said that.
Yeah, I have a son in the Navy, but the chief, can't call him petty officer.
You can't do that.
Has to be chief petty officer.
Chief, I remember when I'll be real quick with this one. Walked in, he said, "Sir, come into my office." I walked in. The chief's office was bigger than mine. I had a cubicle. I go, "Chief, why do you have this?" He says, "Well, when you get smart, you'll maybe get one." All right.
Roger,
and
Chief.
he dismissed me.
It's like it should be the other way around.
I said, "Go away, sir."
The sad part about it is you said Roger, Chief, walked away.
I said, "Aye, Chief."
Oh, yeah, we don't. Yeah, I forgot
Please.
you guys. Yeah, Squid thing.
Squid Talk.
Squid Talk.
That's a great show, Squid Talk.
Yeah, Squid Talk. She started a podcast. Squid
Right,
Talk.
yeah. And guess what? Whale swimming pods. Good lead-in. And you notice I looked at you. And I said,
Yeah, I know. That's why I hate you. You're never coming on again.
I have a 5-gig contract. Sign it with Kevin.
I know. All you got to do is send an email to our manager,
Exactly.
Teresa. Hey, I want to be on their podcast
Exactly.
again.
I got
We
five-
can't
I got-
tell
I
you
got
no.
five.
Yeah, she's gonna say, Jerry, have Javier on the
I'm gonna do
podcast, even though he's an ass.
I-
But anywho, again, thank you, Javier. That
my
was
pleasure.
awesome. So, like I said, that's it for this week. Next week, Kevin's going to do something. He's talking about hand puppets or some really weird kind of
it's
sock
some-
puppet. It's really
It's
creepy.
going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Well, it's Mr. Hand Puppet with Mr. Airplane coming in.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
You heard about that?
Yeah, he's already showed me how the plane's going to come in like this and loop around.
He does a
Exactly.
That's embarrassing.
That's okay. Though.
But I can't tell him no. I can't tell him he can't do the hand
he-
puppets with a little toy.
He gets
Airplane.
excited.
I know.
Could be worse.
I have to.
Could be fun.
I have to do a road trip with him this afternoon.
Just give him some marbles.
I will. Anyway, I gotta go to Douglas with him. But anyway,
Better you than me, pal.
yeah, I know. But anyway, I want to say thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great week. Have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe out there.
Stay frosty.
Yeah, stay frosty, as our illustrious First Sergeant Leo Verdugo would say. Stay hydrated.
And change your socks.
And change your socks. We love you, Leo. I think you're awesome.
Top.
Marines. What do you
Yeah, we love them.
You gotta love them. They're awesome. Well, thank you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Have a happy 4th, and we'll see you guys next week. We'll be time on target. All right. Bye. So, how do we?
It's called a mouse, and this is you just point it here,
I'm not breaking characters.
No.
and we hit finish.
There we go.
And before I say end broadcast, it's always the Air Force having to do the technology for the
Whatever.
Army.
Hey, I just stood here.
Yeah. Whatever. Peace.